to go on this trip with Black Americans because I was always under the impression that Black people will be our greatest allies because they understand more than anybody what it's like to live under occupation, what it's like to be oppressed and racially profiled. But during the trip, it felt like some people were too busy playing Oppression Olympics to fully grasp the experiences of Palestinians living in Palestine. Some people came on the trip with a very limited understanding of the Palestinian people and the Palestinian cause, which is problematic in and of itself. But the most problematic thing was the fact that some people were applying a Western lens of racial dynamics to a place where it does not apply. I am not going to sit here and deny that anti-Blackness exists in every single part of the world. But the issue of race is much different in Palestine than in most other places in the world. In Palestine, Palestinians of all colors are undoubtedly the most oppressed people. In Palestine, a non-Palestinian Black person is more privileged than a Palestinian of any color. And an American, Black or white, is one of the most privileged people in Palestine, right beneath Israelis. Some people in the group were too busy victimizing themselves and taking out their anger on all the wrong people to sit with the reality that in modern day, there are some people that are more oppressed than them. One person in particular was incredibly problematic, especially considering she was one of the group leads who was hosting private conversations exclusively for the 7 Black people in the group, which under almost any other circumstances I would encourage. I encourage Black people to create safe spaces for themselves to discuss racial issues among themselves. But the issue is that the only comments I heard come out of this person's mouth about Palestine and Palestinians were negative. We're about how racist we are. We're about how slavery persisted until the 20th century in Palestine, which is such an uneducated take, by the way. It was not exclusive to Black people, and it was not done mostly by Palestinians. So I believe these conversations being hosted by a person who came to Palestine with biases against Palestinians were so dangerous to Palestinians and ultimately to Black Palestinian solidarity. The most ironic part about all of this is the fact that we sat and had dinner with Afro-Palestinians in Palestine. We sat and broke bread with the family who run.
The most ironic part of all this is Palestine don't exist, you dumb retarded bitch.
Runs the Afro-Pali Center in Jerusalem. And they are Black.
You guys lost, bro.
Black, and yet they are highly
You guys
respected
lost,
in the
bro.
Palestinian community.
Anybody who's a
for the
fucking
work that they
Palestinian
do for
supporter,
Palestinians. Even
y'all must
talked
know
to the chef at
these
our
people are
hotel in
just
the
sore
last
losers.
couple of days, who
They
was
lost.
a political
There's no such
prisoner.
thing as
He had
Palestine.
just gotten out of prison 2 months before we arrived in Palestine. And he told us that he sat side by side with an Afro-Palestinian, son of the couple who runs the Afro-Pali Center. He sat with him in prison, and he was shocked when I asked him about racism in Palestine because he was like, those are my brothers. I don't care what color they are. During this trip, I sat with Palestinians and I told them, talk to me bluntly. I'm a Palestinian. I'm not going to judge our community. Talk to me about racism in Palestine. And every single one of them was like, what is there to say? Like, racism exists in every community, yes. But in Palestine, it's actually few and far between because the issue of race is so much more complicated in a place like Palestine. And I have been involved in Black activism for many years. And I know that when I am in Black spaces, it is not my place to call out issues within the Black community, especially when those people are being slaughtered. When I am in Black spaces, I am there to observe, to learn, to be an ally, not to call out Black people. By the way, these same people who sat there and talked all this shit about how racist Palestinians are did not hesitate to pose in front of a ginormous George Floyd mural painted by a Palestinian artist. They posed with that artist in front of the mural. And I bet they wouldn't dare look that artist in the face and say that he's racist. By the way, go support that artist. He's Banksy.2 on Instagram. He's an incredible person.
Banksy is not no fucking Palestinian. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Banksy? You gonna try to take Banksy now? Nah, I'm not jacking that. I don't think Banksy came out of your culture, bro. Hell the fuck no.
Incredible artist who I'm still in communication with.
He's probably from Israel, but not fucking. I don't know what the fuck. Yo, bro. He's probably from Israel, but I don't know about no Palestine. That shit don't exist, lady.
He is struggling right now. His daughter is in the hospital, so please reach out and try to help in any way that you can. But I refused to pose in that picture with the rest of the group because literally an hour before that, they were making fun of Palestinians. We passed a mural that was supposed to be, I believe, of Nelson Mandela, but it wasn't the greatest art. And so it kind of looked like George Floyd, and they couldn't tell who it was. And they literally said, "I'm so sick of these people." And yet they...
Lady, the art was so bad that... Hold on, what you said? How you defending and trashing it at the same time? That's hilarious.
Literally said, "I'm so sick of these people." And yet they don't know who it was, and they literally took the greatest art, and so it kind of looked like George Floyd.
Mason Mon... Bro. How it kind of looked good, but it kind of looked like George Floyd. What? Yo, please tell me this is a troll. This bitch can't be serious, gang.
And they couldn't tell who it was, and they literally said, "I'm so sick of these people." And yet they won't hesitate to pose in front of a George Floyd mural for a social media photo op. Even when we were about to walk into a masjid, there were beggars outside the masjid who asked some people for money. And she made a comment about how, "Oh, notice how they're not asking the black people for money because they think all black people are poor." And I said, "You don't know that. Those same people didn't ask me, a Palestinian American, for money. They're not assuming I'm poor. In fact, when they know you're American, you're immediately up here to them. They immediately assume you have money and that you're privileged in ways that they'll never experience." The reason that they didn't ask some people for money had nothing to do with the fact that those people are black. They simply just approached a few people out of the entire group asking for money. I could ramble about this for hours because it was one of the most frustrating things of my life to watch people come from America to a place like Palestine and act like they're more oppressed than people literally living under occupation. And it's so ironic because the entire...
Lady. They're not living under occupation. They got their fucking shit rocked and they lost their land. Like, come on, bro. Like, you guys been holding on to this fucking ideology that this land still belongs to you guys. But that is not how it works, ma'am. That is not how it works. If you guys cannot win a war, that is not my problem. For real though, like, yo, this fucking brain rot shit runs deep, bro, to the point that these people believe in the land still belongs to them. That's like, bitch, that's like you say you live here after I kick you out. I fucking kicked you out. You can't fucking claim you live here no more. Stop jacking. This place is called that. It's not called that no more, alright? Holy shit. And it's not like these, and it's fucking crazy how they act like this place still belongs to them when the Jews is like literally allowing these niggas to stay and live around amongst them. Like, just be fucking grateful that you still could live there. Holy shit. Stop calling it something that it's not. If you win a war for once, maybe we'll call it Palestine. Holy shit.
I'm trying to find parallels between the lives of Palestinians, between the racial profiling that I experienced as a Palestinian and the experiences of black people in America. I thought that this would be an opportunity for us to come together and understand each other better. not to create more division. This is why some people are so.
It sounds like they went over there and they found out the truth. It sounds like they went all the way over there and they found out the truth. Them niggas is like, damn, y'all motherfuckers is racist. Fuck y'all. They just stop jacking y'all. That's what it sounds like, me boy. Me boy. You mad?
Dangerous to the movement, not only to the pro-Palestinian movement, but also to black activism. Because if I was somebody else, if I haven't already done so much work for the black community, if I didn't already have a deep understanding of racial dynamics, this entire experience might have pushed me away from the black community. But I know that these rotten tomatoes in the community do not represent the black community as a whole. One of the most ironic parts about all of this is that before making this video, I was sitting in a cafe in Amman, journaling my thoughts about this topic, and I got interrupted by a waiter at the restaurant who asked me where I'm from, and we started chatting, and it turns out he is Jamaican and Palestinian. But ultimately, I think if you have internal biases against Palestinians, you should not be going to Palestine. And if you don't want to acknowledge the experiences of Palestinians in their entirety, then to be honest, we don't need you as an ally. Seeing what Palestinians are going through only makes you think, yeah, no, we have it worse. When you're an American, you are not a true ally. And I will be talking more about the issue of people taking trips to Palestine with a limited understanding of Palestinians and Palestinian history, because there were so many other issues with some of the people who went on.
I want to see what people are saying about this dumb bitch. Wow, Palestinians are racist. So are Israelis. Black people are discriminated here in the US. It's a global issue. I'll support I'll still support Palestine over Zionist inbreds. These people are so stupid. What makes me giggle every time I see this video is the fact that she has the audacity to say that they shouldn't apply Western racial identity to the Middle East, yet they insist on calling Jews white, and we have no business being in the Middle East. Holy shit. Translation: Palestinians on the streets were absolutely horrific in displaying their usual overt racism towards black people. Said black people obviously noticed this and were kind of shocked, and this woke liberals is now trying to mansplain uh, the issue away. LOL. AKA excuse the racism away because free Palestine or something. So what do you call a person the most oppressed group of people feel is worthy of calling horrible names? Are you saying if a Palestinian called a black person the N-word, it's fine? How about if they wanted them as a slave? Is that cool? Trying to understand how Palestinians are racially profiled when they are the same race basically as everyone else in the area. Holy shit, the fucking retard runs deep. Who funded the whole trip? How big was the group? How many blacks were there in the group? What volunteering it was? For real. Can you watch this video and summarize it for fucks given for Palestine? Fucks. This is why, at least in Africa, there are countries with names. We cooking, boys. This is why, at least in Africa, there are countries with names. Blacks have their own countries in Africa and in the Western Hemisphere. I can't say the same for this fictional place called Palestine. It was never no Palestine ever. Thank you. I want to see what somebody said against this. Yo, bro, people tight. People tight. Like literally, this bitch is justifying racism. It doesn't matter where the fuck you at in the world. Racism is racism, bro. The fuck? And this bitch really thinks Palestine's a real place. That's crazy. But anyways,